Do you have a bullshit job? Well, David Graeber thinks so. So do you ever sit at your office and sort of like quietly like watch the time pass, or just look for something to sort of distract you while you're just kind of letting the day pass by? And like you actually have the knowledge that your job is like 80 or 90% like wasted time where you're not really doing anything. Maybe in some cases you think your job is actually like 100% unnecessary. So a couple years ago, David Graeber, who unfortunately has passed, because this book it's so clever, it's so funny, it's so right, like on the point. I highly recommend it. I'll leave the link for the Amazon link for the book in the description. Obviously, I'm not getting paid off by David Graeber. I wouldn't even know how to go about that. But anyway, the core premise is basically talking about all these different sort of made up positions that take place in sort of white collar work. You have, and I'll just try to go off of memory, but you have something like a goon, like somebody who is like an HR manager, a lobbyist, PR, like somebody who doesn't actually contribute directly to the bottom line of the business or whatever the organization is. They're more like just bullying other things and other entities. You think like a lawyer or something, or just somebody who just like bullies someone around without actually contributing anything economically. You have something called a box checker, which is basically people that do jobs that are like totally made up. Like they're basically making it seem like they're productive. Another funny one, this is actually might be one of the funniest ones because it's so wasteful and so stupid. It's this concept of a lackey. I think we've all probably seen it, like, maybe like an extra secretary for someone who doesn't need a secretary, or some sort of extra position to just help some middle manager sort of increase the overall size of their organization so they feel more important, and they could say, well, I manage an office of X number of people, which makes it sound like they're important, but like the truth of the matter is those people are largely unnecessary. You have and then you have duct tapers, which are people that are basically hired to fix problems that should not exist, like problems that just nobody wants to actually like fix the core issue. And so instead of fixing the issue, you just hire another person who basically just carries one thing from point A to point B, where you could just make A and B closer, something like that. No analogy is perfect, but like basically, and I would say that like my last position, well, not my second to last position, I want to say I was largely, I would say I was a combination of a duct taper and a box checker. And I say that because it seemed like mostly what I was there to do was to just make it seem, and a little bit of a flunky too, but basically a little bit. The last position, it wasn't that I was fixing problems that shouldn't exist, I was fixing problems that didn't exist. Like and as I did the job longer and longer, I'm like, oh, this scenario would never happen. Like, and I'm not gonna go into the specifics of it, but I was like, it became apparent once I understood the system and how my organization connected with the other organizations, that I was like, this specific thing, there's a reason why the main core problem that I seem to be trying to solve seems unsolvable, because the problem doesn't fucking exist. Like, it's all just sort of, as they say in Wolf of Wall Street, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy. So, when I discovered this book, this bullshit jobs book, a couple years ago, and I was like driving my 2-hour commute from Seoul down to my office out in the hinterland, I would listen to this book and I was like, oh my fucking God, this applies to everyone, it seems like. It seems like the vast majority of white collar jobs or something like that, where there's some sort of bullshit job. So the reason this is important though is there's a certain element of work that is gratifying. Like, for as much as we hate being at work all the time and we hate you know, wasting our time and we want to get more rest and more leisure time and all that other stuff, truth of the matter is, if you know, I've been more or less on my own schedule for over 3 months now, and I can tell you after about a week or two, you want to do something. You want to feel like you're being productive. So there is no fantasy if you're going to like retire, you know, onto a yacht or onto the beach. As you can see, I'm clearly on the beach right now, which is nice to do every now and then. But like, you're going to want to work. There's a level of work that is somewhat gratifying, as I've said in some of my other videos. But then also, it's, while we have a sense of meaning that we get out of like contributing to something outside ourselves, that feeling is completely hijacked when we do something that we know is totally fucking pointless. Like, if I were to tell you that I would pay double whatever you make now, but your job is for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, what your job was to just break big rocks into little rocks, you'd be pretty happy initially. You'd have, obviously, be enjoying the fact that you have like newfound spending ability, but that actually wears off. There's so many studies on this, and this isn't an academic channel, so I don't have them readily available, but people's set point of like their happiness changes as their income changes. So you initially are very happy because obviously you will suddenly have more resources to do things. One thing I will say, as someone who recently had a lot of resources to do things and now has far fewer, yeah, it's stressful. Yeah, this shift does cause some anxiety, but like, just like how your set point adjusts as you go up in income, your set point actually will adjust as you go back down. It's just going to be equal and opposite. Just like how you are really happy for a little bit as you're going up, you're going to be stressed out, full of anxiety as you're going down. But you just have to, you know, realize that life's not linear. It's a lot of, you know, in the long term, far back, it seems like it's, you know, progress is continuous. When in reality, if you zoom in, it's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of bumps. I can tell you I've never been happier though. So I'm good. I'm sound as a clown. But back to the whole importance of the book is, when you have a bullshit job, it takes something that at one point when you were applying for this job, you know, you think about when you are applying for a job, you to you it turns into this big lofty goal that's sort of like in the ether. Like, you're like, oh, if I get that job, I get that raise, I get that promotion, oh my God, I'm gonna be so happy. Oh my God, it's gonna be so amazing. And then you've been through this multiple times. You've gotten a job you wanted before, and it never turns out the way you think it's gonna be. It always is. It's always you doing what the organization needs you to do, not what you think is important. The box you get to play in is very small. So the job is never as good as you think it's going to be. And a lot of times you end up doing a lot of stuff that you think is incredibly unnecessary at best, and then sort of getting yelled at by your manager that you're not doing the thing that he wants you to do because he's not able to communicate it very well. And you ask him questions and he just gets more mad, and communication is a huge problem. So, huge tangent, probably should be for a different video. But back to the bullshit jobs thing is, it really does fuck with your mental health to have a job that you know is meaningless, to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day or longer, uncomfortable clothing, maybe your computer's under some kind of monitoring system so you can't really do that, and you're just kind of sitting there with that pit in your stomach, just knowing that you have a totally pointless job, and maybe you've done it, maybe you're smart enough to never have done it. You know, you go to your manager to say, hey, I don't have anything going on, or I need more work, or something like that, which is never a winning strategy, because one, it makes you look kind of useless, and two, then you're forcing your boss to do more work, to give you some work, because he feels like, he doesn't want to feel like you're getting over, like you're not doing anything. But at the same time, if you're going to put him, if you're going to say, hey boss, not a lot going on right now, you got something for me, he doesn't want to just be like, no, it's fine, go fuck off, like go do whatever you want, go take a long lunch or whatever, like, because then the jig is up. Then it's like harder for him to sort of exert his control on you, because he's always worried, because his boss obviously has a boss, and he's worried about, he can't give you too much rope to go do whatever you're doing, and he also wants to kind of keep you close to the breast pocket, and in case, because he's always worried that something's going to come down that has to happen, and then all of a sudden he's got to go chase down his employees and other shit like that. So what ends up happening is, if you do go up to your boss, and I've never done, maybe I've done this like 18 years ago, something like a long time ago. But if you were to go up to your boss and say, hey boss, I don't have enough work, you got anything for me? You're forcing his hand at that point. Then he has to make something up for you to do. So rather than you making your boss's job easier, you're making it harder, because now he has to work to give you work, which is going to piss him off more, which means he's probably going to give you something fucking shitty. So, highly recommended that you don't ever go to you have a bullshit job, you know you have a bullshit job. The solution is not to tell your boss that what you're doing is silly and pointless, or say you don't have enough going on, because that's going to do nothing but lead you the wrong way. Obviously, I'm extremely biased. My solution to all this is always like, you should be a digital nomad, you should do entrepreneurship, you should manage your own schedule. Like, obviously that's my solution, but I would say this, if you're sitting in your office and you feel guilty because you're not that busy, and you feel like you're being a bit of a scrub or something like that, read this book, give it a listen, whatever your preferred means of uploading information to your brain, and I think it'll help you a little bit with that feeling of guilt. You'll be like, oh, look, it isn't just me. This fucking a massive percentage of our entire economy is bullshit jobs, made up things, people sitting in the office. So at the very, very least, I would say, obviously my channel is about travel and all that other stuff, but a big part of it is just about managing your mental health during a tumultuous modern economy. And so check out David Graeber's book, Bullshit Jobs. And if you are transitioning towards being a digital nomad, or you like travel, or you just for some reason like watching a shirtless tattooed dude walk around the beach, give me a subscribe. As you can see, this is one of my earlier videos. Right now my subscriber count is below 500. I'm enjoying doing this, in it for the long haul, but might help to grow this a little bit faster. So hit that subscribe, and from the beaches of Bali, terima kasih.